Alright, the next video is about combat log. So for this video I will show you what is it, how to set it up, and then we will look at a couple of actual PvP fights, and I will explain what information you can get out of the correctly set up combat log. So if you don't have it enabled, you need to go to the hamburger menu and then utilities and then log and messages, and it will look like this. I prefer to have both live combat log and like a history combat log enabled. Live combat log disappears after a couple of seconds, and occasionally you want to go back even during the fight and check some information that you may have missed here. You have a couple of settings here. So these filters are for the historical log. I keep everything ticked because that really doesn't clog up your log anyways. If you are in a PvP fight, it's not like you are gonna get a bunch of money and bounty notifications anyway. And these settings are for the live log, what you will see in the middle of the screen. Here again you can keep mostly everything ticked. I unticked just a couple of things that are just completely irrelevant for me as a solo PvP player, like bounty payout, mining, remote assistance. This is just not what applies to my playstyle anyway. These settings allow you to remove the live combat log entirely, so now you don't see it. I recommend to keep it enabled because during a fight your attention will be like in the center of a screen and not here in the like top right whenever you decide to place it. So it's good to have the live log somewhere close to your attention, close to the center of your attention. And I recommend to keep everything ticked. You can also move it somewhere where you find convenient. I personally like it just above of the center of my screen. After that you close and they just live here. Message size, alignment, this is like entirely up to your preferences. And you can also just copy paste all of the saved messages in the clipboard for further analysis if you want. It's rarely needed, but there are some software that can visualize these logs. Okay, so this is pretty simple. This is how you set it up. Now let's look at how we actually use it in a PvP fight. Okay, the first and most common use for the combat log is to get information about high slots of your opponent. So this, for example, is the 425mm autocannon Navy Scythe. I can see it from the gun model, but you don't always have time to look at the gun model, and if you know all the guns by heart, then you probably don't really need to watch tutorial videos. So the first step is usually just to use combat log, and combat log gives you a bunch of information. So as you can see in the combat log, it is indeed 425mm autocannon Scythe, and it has newt, and this is a medium newt. So just from the two lines you get a very good idea about the fit of your opponent, especially if you combine this with data from the overview. So from the overview you can see that it's a Scrum web, single web Scythe, and it has macro warp drive most likely because of a velocity under web and scrum. So just like 5 to 10 seconds of a fight, and combat log plus overview gives you almost the entire picture of the fit for your opponent, which is of course a huge advantage when you engage in frigate PvP. Active. And when we talk about missiles, you can even get information about missile type what your opponent uses. For example, in this pretty old fight between two hookbills, let's just pause here, I think. So again, this is obviously a rocket hookbill. You can see it from the gun model again, right here. And you can also see it from the combat log. With missiles, it shows that it's rocket. So this is from rocket launcher. And that this is a Tech 2 kinetic rocket, which is of course expected from the kinetic locked hookbill, but you don't always fight hookbill. Sometimes you fight some other missile ship that may not be kinetic locked, and in this case it's valuable information. Now, third bit of information is that you can sometimes see information and get conclusions from the damage numbers. For example, in this situation, this hookbill actually deals significantly less damage than my hookbill, and it means that this hookbill shoots rage rockets with only one web. I can see it even before I check for the number of webs. So here you will see that I will move my mouse to check the number of webs, but I did that because I saw in the combat log some unusual numbers. And indeed, you can see that this hookbill has only one web. And for full application with Rage, you need double web against frigates with afterburners. This is a fairly advanced info, but nevertheless it's available if you know where to look. Combat log also gives you a good amount of information for the Newton wars, so you can see the state of capacitor of your opponent. So this fight is between Newton Tristan and Blaster Merlin, and let's see how it goes. So again, immediately a bunch of information comes from the combat log. You can see that this is a Neutron Blaster Merlin. You didn't really have an opportunity to check the guns, so you can just see it from the log directly. And then you can see the efficiency of units. In this case, 45 kg is the maximum efficiency for a small Tech 1 newt. And once Merlin is out of cap, and it will be out of cap at the beginning of 4th cycle. So this is the 3rd cycle, and the next cycle it will be empty. And since Merlin will not have enough cap to drain, you will see that it's empty from the log. So one newt neutralized only 4 units of cap, and 2 others neutralized 0. And it means that Merlin has no cap anymore. And from this information, you know that you need to turn off 2 of your newts and stagger them. Again, this is, you can kind of deduce that from the fact that Merlin dropped a scrum, but you don't need to make any assumptions. You can just see it in the log. And the final clip on this topic, combat log also helps you to see the efficiency of your guns and newts at the fall off. And from the numbers you can make conclusions on whether you should keep firing or using some modules or not. For example, in this situation, Kestrel is 8 kilometers away from the Newton Tristan, and Newton Tristan with Tech 1 energy newts has an optimal range of something like 5 kilometers, and past like 7.5 kilometers the Newton is practically non-existent. So by running the newts at this range, you simply burn your own cap, because the activation cost is always constant, but the drain amount is not constant. It depends on how far your opponent is in the fall off, in the Newton fall off. So in this situation you can see that newts practically have no effect, so you need to turn them off and reactivate them back again once you burn closer to the Kestrel. In this specific situation it didn't matter that much, because by the time Kestrel was in the Newton fall-off it was already out of cap. But in general this is like a very useful reminder that you have right in front of your eyes that something doesn't work, something doesn't deal damage, or something doesn't newt anything, so you need to just go back to ship management and make some adjustments.